Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us for today's virtual training. Welcome to the Flint Genesee Business Bridge Training Series. This series of videos was intended to help entrepreneurs succeed in all aspects of their business, anywhere from banking to marketing. But today we're going to be digging into a very important and often missed topic, building your network. And with us, we have Quentin or Q Gross, who is honestly a professional networker. Quentin is all over town. He has a job that immerses him in the community, but he was a longtime chamber ambassador. He was for a long time very involved with the young professionals. So if anyone knows how to build a network, it is Q. Q, thanks so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Bree. It's been a
Tell us
pleasure.
a little bit about yourself before we get started.
Yeah, so networking has been something that I've kind of got myself immersed in since a child. I remember going with my dad to different places, whether it be the grocery store or places that you wouldn't expect to run into people that you know. And everywhere we went, my mom would always be like, "Oh my God, your father always knows someone, or someone knows your father." And I just loved that. I thought that was fun. And so that's like my earliest memories of what networking kind of was like. But going to the collegiate entrepreneurs of my first conference in college, or just simply meeting new people in college or around town, right? It started at an early age, but ultimately, I just loved being the person that when people go, "God, I just have this problem. I don't know what to do. I can't find anybody for this specific thing," and being the person that could be like, "I got a guy." I've always loved. I loved that aspect. So it's kind of been a fun. It's not what you know, it's who you know. It was a mantra that I heard very early in life, and so connecting with as many people as possible, because you never know um, what you're going to either personally gain or be able to provide someone a new connection, or an old connection that you re-engage with.
Yeah, that's so true. So is that where you would say that your love of networking came from early on?
Yeah, I would say 100%. It came from that realm. My father was a part of a leads group. He was in the banking realm, and so I got to learn about, like, what's a leads group. I have no idea what leads are. Um, and eventually, as I got older, post college, and started working for BMW, I was in sales. I joined a BNI group. And for those that aren't familiar, BNI is Business Networking International. It's very similar to chamber leads, or chamber leads roundtable, but it's a specific group where you're chatting with people and you're honing your own personal commercial. So what Toastmasters does for speaking, a leads roundtable or a BNI, or even simply going to a chamber event, might be the way that you're engaging with new people.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's so interesting because you're talking about networking and leads. Sometimes networking can simply, lead to friendship. You moved to this community from a different community, and it's definitely helped you grow your circle. So it can be used in a lot of different ways. But who would you say networking is valuable for? Just people in business, just people moving to a new community? Who should be thinking about networking and building their network?
I think people put networking on this pedestal of, like, oh my God, it's networking, right? Or I'm going to a networking event. Networking is something for everybody, right?
Mhm.
You don't need to be an extrovert, popular to common belief.
Yeah.
You could be the business person, right? You're a small business owner who's looking to get connected with other small business owners. You might be in sales like I was. I moved from Grand Rapids after spending 27 years of life all the way to this side of the state. I was living in the Genesee County area, but working in Ann Arbor. And so I got involved with both chambers and got engaged with some of their, just something as simple as attending a breakfast, right?
Mhm.
There might be a cool speaker that you're looking to engage with or learn from. The networking happens to be the byproduct while you're there, right? You might go for something, but you might end up networking with other people and getting to know them. It could be around community engagement. And where I know today we're here talking about small businesses and small business growth, right? Networking can be personal too.
Mhm.
How many do we know that are part of either a mom's group or PTAs, or you're personally in a sports league. I play volleyball in the summers. You may have a child that's in a sport that you're spending time in a gym with other parents. So networking is for everyone, really, and ultimately, it's just about growing your own personal network so that, hey, you know what? I know someone's looking for this specific thing. You could be like, you might know another mother in a group or another person in a small business group. Again, it's for everybody, right? It's not just simply, and I think it's the thing that happens, the byproduct of going to different places and entering into a conversation with other people.
Absolutely. So we talked a little bit about who networking is for, but how would you say it's valuable? So if I am a small business owner, maybe I'm just getting started, how would it benefit me to build my network?
So for the small business owner, I think the biggest thing that you want to start off with is if you're talking about, I want to do some networking or I want to build my networking. First, I would recommend that you start with a goal. What is your goal with networking? Are you looking, if I'm looking to go networking at this event, is there someone specific that I'm looking to connect with? You know what? I keep seeing and hearing about all these really great educational series videos the chamber is doing. I would love to do this in my own company. Who's doing that at the chamber? I'd love to get connected. Oh, I know who Bree is. She's right over here. Let me get you connected with her. She can tell you about StreamYard and some of those things, right? Something as simple as that. Who do you want to connect with? Or is it that you're looking to connect with a certain service, right? Sometimes this is a little bit more of a softer touch, but you could go into a chamber meeting and you just had a really terrible day with your bookkeeping. And you go to a chamber lunch and someone says, so how's things, right? That's generally a question that's going to happen. Or, oh, so how are you doing? Leverage that moment to remember what your goal is. One of the first individuals that I met in a BNI chapter, he always would keep a card, whether it was a Post-it note or a part of a index card, and he would write what his goals were networking. He would have, personally, this individual had long-term goals. But anytime someone asks the question, so Bree, so how are things? What's going on? Right?
Yeah.
That individual had that thing ready to go. Now, he didn't have to access it all the time, right? But it was in his mind. That was his goals. So for a small business owner looking to grow their network, what is your goal, right? What do you want to do? Do you want to get connected with someone? Do you want to get connected with a service or a thing? Or perhaps you want to be the connector, right? Many of us have these large groups. If you open up your address book, most of us are going to have 500,000, probably more contacts. We all have a wealth of individuals that we know, right? So don't think that you're the only thing you can do is ask for things. It is a give and a take. So, you might be the person that's a connector for somebody else. You just got to keep your ears open and listen for what those things are.
Yeah, and I think you touched on an incredibly important piece of networking that is often overlooked, going in with that goal or knowing your why, especially as a small business owner, entrepreneur. You might be the business owner, the marketer, HR, you're wearing all of these hats. And so when you think of time, your time is incredibly valuable. So to take an hour or two out of a day when you could be growing your business, you have to think, okay, this is a different way to grow my business. How do I want to do that? Why am I doing that? And I will never forget my very first week of employment here. I went to my first chamber luncheon and it was incredibly daunting. I've never been in the room with that many people at one time. And so I can see why networking would be a little bit intimidating and why people, put it on this pedestal. And my recommendation for that would be to find the person that's working the room and ask them the questions, like, hey, this is my first time. I really want to talk to someone who specializes in XYZ. Do you know who that is? And would you mind introducing me? A lot of times people in those spaces, because they're going in with similar goals, are always going to be willing to help and make that warm introduction for you. Yeah.
And just to talk about, to piggyback off of that, Bree, right? Yes, go find the person that seems to be working in the room. An individual that we both know is Lauren, right? She's always buzzing around the room, right? She's probably the person you're going to see running around, but also making connections for people. So yes, find that person. Chambers traditionally have an ambassador, right? There
Mhm.
might be an ambassador that might be willing to show you around. The other thing is bring a friend, right?
Mm.
One of the
Yeah.
things that makes things a little bit more comfortable, right? When we walk into a chamber luncheon, there's over 100 people that might be there, right? And we go in and we go, I don't know
Mhm.
anyone and I don't know where to begin. So
Yeah.
sometimes it's just a matter of bring a friend along with you, right? And then at least you have one additional person. But make sure, and share. If you do bring a friend, share with them what your goal is. Don't just bring them with you to go have lunch. Share with them what your goal is, because then your friend might be having a conversation with somebody that would accomplish what your goal is, and they can make that introduction. Again, it is a living, breathing process. So definitely enjoy it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so we've talked a little bit about chamber luncheons already. Maybe those who are watching have never been to one or aren't connected with the chamber. Where else would you suggest that those looking to build their network can connect with other people?
Yeah. So speaking specifically to the business realm, right? I would say chambers are a fantastic way to grow
Mhm.
your network. Um, and one of the thing is that there's a lot of different chambers. So you might have a regional chamber which covers your county, much
Mhm.
like Flint and Genesee, right? And then you might have a smaller local chamber that's specific to your city. One of the beautiful things about chambers is not every single one of them are exactly the same, right?
Mhm.
Some you might go into and everyone during a luncheon is saying what their name and their profession is. Others, it might be a little bit more structured because of the size of it, but we have
Yeah.
more opportunities to engage. So I would say chambers is one, whether it's your regional or your local. I would say associations. So
Mm.
there is an association. Okay, I didn't know that that
Wow,
was a
we're really
thing.
excited about associations. Tell us more.
I do love it. So I did not even intend that. Apparently, that's a new Mac feature that if you do certain features or symbols, it'll give balloons. I was not ready for that. Sorry. Um, Yes, so associations is another thing. One of the things that I learned at MLive is there is literally an association for
Mm.
everything.
Mhm.
So, as a small business owner, you are kind of feel like you're on an island, right? One of the things that small business owners talk about is that they feel lonely. They can't talk to their employees about the trials and tribulations that they're going on. But one of the cool things is you might be able to find a small business association. And
Yeah.
guess what? There's a bunch of owners. You can connect with those other owners in that specific group. Um, you know, you might be enjoying yarn. I don't know, whatever that is, right? Whatever that specific thing is, look for an association that covers your item. And one of the cool things with associations is you get conferences. So I would say
Mhm.
those are the big three. If we're looking at small business growth, focus on your chamber. That gives you a wide breadth where you're getting to get connected with the community and learn about all different types of businesses. Associations to drill in specifically to your industry or the services that you provide. And then the conferences to get even more drilled down into specific topics where you might be looking for some different, or some different items or different educational opportunities. But those
Mhm.
people, guess what, Bree, are also there for the same reason, right? They're
Yes,
there to
right.
learn. They're there. They have
Yeah.
a goal. So I would say those are probably the three big ones for small business owners.
I love it. And, in terms of chambers, we talked about luncheons. We do in-person workshops. So conversations like these that you're watching
That's
on
right.
your screen happen in person. And those are my favorite small networking opportunities because everyone is going to that particular workshop with a common thread. Maybe it is marketing focused, and those are the things that you want to talk about with the people in the room. Maybe it's leadership focused. It gives you sort of that overarching theme, which can help start a conversation very simply. If you don't have a theme or you don't know what that thread is between you and another individual, how would you say someone should start a conversation? Maybe they're new to building a network or these types of events. How do you start?
Don't complicate it.
Yeah.
Don't complicate it. I see you at a meeting, and excuse me, you might be standing alone, Bree, and I could just simply walk up. Again, remember, we're at a networking event, right?
Hmm.
We're at a conference. We're at something that people are expecting to connect with other people.
Yeah.
This is not a family function, right? This is not we went to the restaurant and, oh, we've got a private party. Sorry. No, you have come to this event and other people expect to do that. So start by saying hello, right?
Mhm.
If you're like, personally, I love finding something about someone that I can give a compliment, right? Oh my God, I love your necklace. Something to that effect. It doesn't, you don't have to get super deep. It might be something that you notice, laptops. If you're having a coffee meeting with somebody and somebody opens up their laptop and you see a sticker of a favorite band or something, you could be literally walking in Starbucks, right? Again, we're talking
Mhm.
about at a chamber event, but you could be at Starbucks and see somebody working there and they've got a sticker. I like Star Wars, right? I might see a little Star Wars and I'll go, oh my gosh, I love that. That's fantastic. Just wanted to say I love that sticker.
Yeah.
Hope you're having a good day, right? Something as simple as that. So one, you walk into a room, these people are expecting to be engaging with other new people. Say
Mhm.
hello. Maybe find some common ground. There's one of the quickest ways to start building that relationship is finding some common ground. Um, oh my God, I love that band too. Oh my gosh, I just saw that. I really would love to go to this event. Whatever those things are, find something that's a common ground thing. But it's something as simple as saying hello. That's it.
Yeah.
Hi. Walk up to that group of people. If you see, one of the things that I love about networking events, specifically at chamber luncheons, is you'll always see this circle of people, right? There's this circle of people huddled up and all seem to know each other. What's funny about these networking circles, right, is that if another person walks up and they kind of indicate that they would like to enter the conversation, that circle naturally opens up and makes
Yeah,
space
yeah,
for
yeah,
you.
yeah.
So go in and say hi. Everyone is expecting to meet new people. It's not a weird thing.
I love
Yeah.
the simplicity of that, and I love how that approach really opens it up for genuine conversation. If you come up to me and you say, "I did $3 million in my business last year. How much did you?" Or like, "What are your biggest growth opportunities?" I love the fact that you're looking to get to know about me and my business, but if I'm a business owner, I want to do business with people that I have those genuine connections with that I feel like I know, especially if I'm making referrals. And so that approach really helps you get to know the person behind the
Hmm.
business before getting straight to business.
Stay away from things that, if it feels taboo to you, right,
Hmm.
probably stay away from it, right?
Yeah.
If the question doesn't feel easily like it's going to be coming up, then don't force it, right? I would never go into a meeting and the first 5 questions of meeting somebody saying, revenue has just been so tough this year.
Hmm.
Where's your revenue at? You might
Hmm.
say, what revenue struggles have you had? Have you found growth? Right? Like,
Yeah.
don't you could ask questions in a certain way that don't put people off.
Yes.
So leverage it in that way. Yeah.
Hmm.
Instead of, gosh, our revenue was this. What was yours this year? Nope. I've been really struggling with growing new revenue. What are you finding are successful ways that you're gaining new leads or whatnot, right? Something to that
Hmm.
effect. But again,
Hmm.
I think that's for the coffee meeting that you have later that you've set up
Yeah.
after the initial conversation. Remember, when we are networking and we meet a new connection, we're simply looking to start building the relationship, right?
Hmm.
We're both I'm married, right? I didn't get to 10 years of a relationship and a marriage with my husband because we started talking about marriage on the first date. No, we got to know each other, right? And that's very much how networking is. It's very relationship driven, right? There's very
Yeah.
similar pieces and parallels. So,
Yeah, incredibly relationship driven, but it doesn't always feel natural. And sometimes you just don't click with people,
mhm.
and you find yourself maybe a little stuck in a conversation. How do you advise people handle that type of situation when you just simply feel stuck?
Yeah. So I had a good friend of mine that was new to networking, and he was at this event and he's like, okay, but I just don't know what to do. And he goes, but like, what happens if I get stuck in a conversation and somebody just, like is monopolizing, or I can't get out of it, or I feel, you know, this individual felt like the second that they engaged with a new person that they didn't know, right? The walls started closing in around them and they were like,
Mhm.
I can't get out of this conversation. That happens, right? We're meeting new people. It is a little bit angsty. It's kind of like the first day of kindergarten.
Yeah.
just give yourself an out is what I always say. So, something that's easy. Bree, it's been fantastic chatting with you. I gotta go use the restroom real quick before we head to the next session, but maybe I'll see you. See, there's that thing again.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
I'll see you around. I'll see you around at the conference, right?
Yeah.
Or, hey, it's been a pleasure chatting with you. I gotta handle this text before we go into the luncheon. I'll chat with you later. It's been a pleasure, right? Give yourself a natural out, something that is just normal,
Yeah.
just a normal situation. So that's what I would say is just give yourself that easy out. It does not have to feel like this big thing. And some people use the same one. I got to use the restroom. All you're looking for is a simple excuse to step away from the conversation, right? And that's it. You're just looking to excuse yourself, and they're expecting to go talk with other people too. So
Exactly. Yeah.
share your time with others, right? If you're having a great conversation and that other person's having a great conversation, stay in it, right? If you feel like it. But if you're starting to feel like, okay, the conversation's a little bit, feel free to break that off. It's been a pleasure. Let's chat. Exchange business cards. Maybe you want to get a contact information because, hey, we talked really about that payroll processing thing that you're doing. I would love to learn a little bit more about it. Let's grab some coffee.
Yeah.
So break it off if you're looking at having, if you want to continue the conversation, offer an opportunity to do that or get their contact information for later down the road.
Absolutely. Which is a great way to stay in touch. And part of building your network and building those relationships is doing just that, staying in touch, staying connected. So what are your recommendations for staying connected post networking event? If I'm really trying to create some meaningful relationships, if I'm really trying to, find people that I can do business with, how do you recommend staying connected?
I don't have it in my office currently, but generally you'll see I've got a stack of business cards that are always that are either rubber banded or whatnot, right? One, put those contacts into your phone, right? So you've got those there. Have that contact. But the key thing with your contacts that I would always recommend with individuals and has become a new favorite tool of mine is leverage the notes. So if you go into a contact, right? Name, position, phone number, email, address. But if you scroll all the way to the bottom, there's this little field at the bottom of context. I'm speaking specifically to the context on an iPhone or Apple's context, but I believe this is the same with Android as well. But there's a little note section. So now when I go and I meet somebody, I'll be like, hey, I've got Brianna in here. We met at the chamber event, and I'll put generally the month and the year. And I give myself a little nugget to remember what it is. So in my contact, when I'm trying to find somebody, that also becomes searchable. So if I'm like, I know I met them at the Jingle Fest, I can't remember who it is, type Jingle Fest, sometimes that will pop up in that realm. So you might not be able to remember their name or their company, but you might be able to remember some fact. What is that one nugget that would make you remember Bree, right? Keep those business cards. I do the number of times that I find myself flipping through a stack of business cards because I can remember the card or I can remember that person, but I can't find it in my phone book. I love this new iteration of sharing contacts with the dot, right? But the problem with the dot, and again, this is where the notes come in. Problem with the dot is we exchange contact information. Now it's in my contacts. What was that person's name?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And the problem is the only way to go search, there's no like recent contacts section that you can be like, what did I add recently? So the notes section becomes even more important if we're trading information with like the dot or bumping contacts in that realm. And then lastly, connect with them on LinkedIn, right? Connect with them on LinkedIn and engage. And when I say on LinkedIn and engage, what I'm meaning is not just simply liking every single post that this person puts up there. Did they post an article? That's great. Like it, but if you enjoyed that article or you found a point that you enjoyed, generally stay on the positive side. Don't get into an argument. If there's something they're putting in, they're supporting, I think that is a great nugget, or this is a great article, or you might share that thing. Everybody loves attention. Everybody loves engagement. So engage with their stuff on LinkedIn, but do it in a meaningful way. You don't, if you don't have anything to say, don't say it. But very much in the classification of what your mother always told you. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all, right? I believe that very much in the LinkedIn realm. Engage with people in a positive manner. Be that positive person that's engaging with them and also providing feedback and information that adds to the conversation. Is what I would say.
Absolutely.
So those are the things. So LinkedIn, add them on LinkedIn, leverage your notes. The other thing that you could do was, once you've got that contact, is if you're not in sales and you don't have a CRM, Salesforce or one of those ever, the CRM creates a really great opportunity because you have the ability to set up a reminder, right, to reach out to that person. If you don't have that as a small business owner, guess what? You got reminders on your phone.
Yeah.
Just set a reminder and set that thing 2 weeks out. And a lot of times now the reminders allow you to add a contact into it. So now you don't even need to worry about that. And then 2 months later, that pops up. Check in with Brianna, see how her business series has been going, and if she was able to get all of those videos in before the end of the year. Something as simple as that. So yeah, those are a couple of my quick tips on the after. Yeah.
Yes. And the after is so important. If you don't have the notes feature on your phone, you could grab that business card and write a note directly on the business card. You know what I mean? So that's a good way to make note of that. And then
one quick thing too is that networking is about farming, not hunting.
Okay.
But farming, not hunting, right? Think about, hunting is we go out and it's deer season, right? Oh, there's a deer. Boom. I got the deer. I accomplished the goal, right? We now have this meat that we can take home and we can now nourish our bodies. Farming is a lot of a longer process, right?
Yeah.
We have to get the soil ready. We have to plant the seed. Hi, it's nice to meet you. I'm Q. Plant the seed. We have to water that seed. Checking in. Hey, Bree, I just wanted, it was so great to connect with you. I haven't seen you at a chamber event. They're having one coming up here. It would be great to see you again and reconnect. That's watering and fostering that seed. And then the plant starts growing, right? We find other things that we may or may not be able to connect on. And then guess what? Later down the road, if we've done what we've done, there's a harvest that happens. And we're able to farm that item. So networking is not hunting. Here's my business card. Here's mine. Oh, do you guys need payroll? Yeah. Do you need this? That's hunting. Farming would be, hi. Oh, what do? I specialize in payroll services. Oh, yeah. We find a lot of our customers are struggling right now with blank. I don't want to necessarily get into what our pay structure is right now. I'd love to get together and sit down and do coffee. Do you have time next week, or do you have your card and we can set some time up? Oh, you have time after the meeting? Great. Let's set that up. Don't feel like you have to do everything right then, right? We are farming, not hunting. So that's a key tip in when you're looking, a mindset to have when you're networking.
I love that. That is a great way.
Have you not heard that one before?
I've never heard that before. No,
yes.
No, but I think that's
I love it when I get to shock you.
To wrap up our conversation today. So just kind of to call back to some of the things we talked about early on, go in with your why or a goal of what it is that you're wanting to accomplish. Find that common ground, things that you can connect with the other person on. You have an easy out. You're there to network. They're there to network. Thank you. It's been great to talk to you. I've really got to make my way around the room before I need to leave. But most importantly, check in and call back to those things that you spoke about, or that thing you saw on LinkedIn. Maybe they got a promotion or they've got a new program coming out. Those are great ways to really personalize that check-in and that conversation, and do the work,
Absolutely.
Water your seeds.
You got to farm, man. It is a farming mentality when you're dealing with your networking. It's specifically important for your leads too as well. But thank you so much for having me today, Bree. It's been a pleasure to be here, and I look forward to hearing from people. If there's anything that I could do, or you wanted to ask a question, feel free to find me on LinkedIn. It's just Quentin Groce, QUENTIN GROCE. You can find me right on LinkedIn. Feel free to give me an ad, send me a message. It would be great to stay connected.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Q. And everyone else, thank you for joining us today. We will see you at a networking event soon.